to southwestern Alabama. As we head into the next 48 hours, this is where stuff gets interesting. Notice you have these rounds of storms move through the southeast. Notice you have these bowing segments that could bring some strong gusty winds into North Alabama, into southern Tennessee. But the real threat are these discrete cells that are popping up sort of like popcorn throughout the state of Mississippi behind this main line stretching down the Mississippi River. And those discrete cells might spin up and start rotating as we saw last week. And that's when we can get a tornadic threat. And you'll notice those discrete cells continue to move through. As for us here on the East Coast from Charleston down through Tallahassee into the Gulf, that line is going to weaken as we head into Friday, maybe bringing a few showers, but not that much else. Looking at today's storm outlook, as we said earlier, there is that severe thunderstorm watch and tornado watch over by Dallas. That is associated with an enhanced severe weather risk. That is a level 3 out of 5. Could see a few tornadoes. There is a tornado warning that Zach's going to take a look at later. And then within that slight, there's a severe thunderstorm, moderate wind, not moderate, severe thunderstorm and severe wind risk associated with some hail. Tomorrow is when the big guns come out. We have a level 4 out of 5 moderate risk and an enhanced risk as well, and that is where we have the potential for those large hailstones, those damaging winds, and those potentially violent long-track tornadoes. So make sure you have multiple ways of receiving warnings. As for temperatures, tonight, conditions are going to be clear across the southeast, but don't get your hopes up too soon because tomorrow, those stormy conditions set in for Tupelo, Jackson, New Orleans, Little Rock, Shreveport, all the way to Atlanta. Temperatures are going to be warm, and that atmosphere is going to be primed for severe weather. But now looking at Tallahassee tomorrow, I don't think conditions are going to be that bad here, right, David?
No, Jonathan, we're going to miss out on that crazy weather that they're going to have in Mississippi and parts of Alabama, because that energy will be moving farther north of us, and so we won't be getting in on that. And you see currently it is, we have some clouds up there blocking the sun out, and it's currently 70 degrees here in Tallahassee under those cloudy skies. We have an east-southeast wind at 9 miles per hour. And satellite shows where those showers are currently, mostly north of us. This light shower activity with some moderate stuff up here. There, the Florida-Georgia border up near Thomasville is now pretty much fizzled out. And we had some very light showers move through the Tallahassee downtown area earlier. Nothing heavy, and then most of that stuff is offshore. We're going to zoom in here at East Point. You see a light shower down here at East Point. All moving off to the east at a nice brisk pace. So I'm not going to see anything up here, but look at this shower just fizzling out up here south of Steam Mill and north of Sneads. And going into the Thomasville area, they had a nice little dousing of light moderate rain earlier. It has since moved off to the east-northeast. And looking here at Perry, Perry just seems to have a lot of cloud cover, no showers associated with that. These clouds are going to stick around for the next few days as we have a system move through on Friday, which will be the tail end of that system that's going to cause the severe weather. But like I said, all that energy will be further north. And here's the shower activity off in the northeastern part of the Gulf of Mexico. Some of it's making onshore, but it seems like it's weakening as it does, and just have some light shower activity along the Big Bend area there. And next 24 hours, those clouds will stick around, some high clouds into your Thursday, and we won't see any shower activity probably until Friday as that front approaches the area. And temperatures are currently around the Big Bend area, 70 degrees in Bainbridge. Here in Thomasville, 66 degrees in Valdosta, 73 in Tallahassee currently. I showed you earlier at 70 degrees. And the 3-day forecast, see that rain that pops up on Friday, have a high of 84. But tomorrow, we'll just have a mix of clouds and sun. No rain in the forecast for tomorrow, so we have a high 83. And then when we get into the weekend, Saturday, sun will peek through. Look at that temperature, 86 degrees. The temperatures are getting on the warm side. And as we look at the week ahead, Friday is the day where we'll probably see the highest chance of rain with 30% chance of rain. And then as you get into the weekend, temperatures do go up into the mid-80s, and we have a slight chance of rain on Sunday. But look at that, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, looks like there's more sun than rain. But now we're going to talk about that severe threat that's going on with Zach and Jonathan.
Pretty calm here in Tallahassee, but we do expect some of that severe weather to make its way into the southeast once again for tomorrow.
Yeah, so significant severe weather threat across the southeast tomorrow. Don't necessarily pay attention to what color you're in, pay attention to the threats.
Absolutely. You know, Study after study has proved that people are kind of confused by the more technical language put out in some of the forecasts. Regardless of the language, regardless of your number, if you are under a color on the map, you need to have a way to get your warnings and be prepared.
Yes, violent long-track tornadoes are possible in both the enhanced and the moderate. And only in meteorology do we say that the enhanced is less than the moderate. There's some debate about that, but long story short, if you are in any of that color spectrum, make sure you have a severe weather plan in place for tomorrow.
Absolutely. Here's a look at tomorrow's storm outlook. Now, this will get updated once again tonight around 2 a.m. So when you wake up tomorrow, if you're tuned into your local forecast, this could look a little different. We could see potentially another high-risk event tomorrow. The language has been pretty similar to last week's event. We try not to compare too much from week to week, but very similar setup. You need to take the same precautions. We did excellent last week, having no fatalities despite, 22 tornado touchdowns?
41 confirmed
21.
tornadoes.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yes, so regardless of whether or not it's a high, it doesn't matter. The risk is there. Make sure you have a plan. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. Make sure you have a safe room, a plan to get to a safe room. If you need to leave your current building to get to a safe room, we highly recommend you do so. But one thing we also want to talk about is, because this has been the, third round of storms that has gone through these areas, there is a substantial flooding risk as well with these storms.
Absolutely, and the flood risk can kind of be downplayed sometimes. People get caught off guard by tornadoes, hail, damaging winds, but not everyone will see a tornado, but pretty much everyone is going to see heavy rain.
Yes, there's upwards of 6, 7 inches of rain forecasted for some areas over the next 48 hours, and that can cause these torrents of rainfall to accumulate. Ditches can get backed up and overflow, and especially if they're combined with tornadic or severe wind debris.
Absolutely. So there's multiple threats. Be prepared for everything. Once again, have at least 2 ways to get your warnings, just in case your cell phone battery dies, the power goes out, maybe you're not able to contact your family member or hear the radio like you would plan to.
Yeah, so we always recommend NOAA weather radios. We also recommend having the WEA alerts turned on all of your mobile devices. I recommend charging your cell phones tonight and making sure that we just are prepared as a viewership base.
Absolutely. All right, Tyler's going to take a look now at our national picture. Show us a little bit more of what's going on around the country.
Thanks, guys. The severe weather risk is really the main story, but there's still a lot of other weather going on throughout the United States. Much of that heat is situated here in the southeast. Tallahassee at 70 degrees, Atlanta's at 75. Even Detroit, pretty warm today, 70 degrees in those partly sunny skies. But as we start to move west behind that cold front, those temperatures really start to drop. Right now, Kansas City's at 49 degrees, Denver's at 40, Salt Lake City at 48. So even though those temperatures are colder, we're starting to get into that time of the year where the temperatures don't dip down too low, even in those northern regions of the United States. And as expected, behind the cold front, we have lower dew points. So for the most part, you're going to see mostly dry air unless the actual temperatures outside are very close to the dew points. Then you'll start seeing some moisture. Here in the southeast, having some higher dew points here, some more moisture where we're seeing that rainfall. And here's the big synoptic setup here. Seeing this front is going to start pushing down into the southeast. Right now, central Texas experiencing some severe weather. As for the Florida Panhandle, we are seeing some rainfall to the north and south of Tallahassee, but nothing severe in nature. But let's move now to the northeast, where we're seeing some pretty heavy downpours in New Jersey right now, moving northwards into New York. Almost the entire state of Vermont has seen some rainfall, although very light rainfall there. And then moving back down to the south, Washington, D.C., seeing some storms move through the region, but nothing severe, just some heavy rain downpours there in Maryland. Let's move now to the west, as we can see that parts of Minnesota are actually seeing some snowfall, so still cold enough in these very, very northern regions to support snow. But as we start to move south into Minneapolis, that transitions back into rain there. And then we're just seeing cloudy skies over Iowa, but moving down into Kansas, west of Wichita, seeing some rain move through the western regions of Kansas. And let's move back down to home here in Florida, seeing rainfall move towards the east in southern Georgia, starting to die off now. And then to our south over the Gulf of Mexico, seeing some rainfall as well. But as we transition to nighttime, we're going to continue to see these showers really start to die out. And now moving into Texas, we're seeing some more thunderstorms that are severe in nature to the southwest of Dallas, Oklahoma, and Kansas once again, seeing some rainfall there. And then parts of New Mexico actually seeing some snowfall mixed with some rain, depending on where you're at in the region. So for today's storm outlook, Central Texas is under an enhanced risk. That means a 3 out of 5 risk for seeing a severe thunderstorm there. And as we move towards the east, that risk starts to fall. And then tomorrow, as Jonathan and Zach talked about, a moderate risk for parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. That is a 4 out of 5 risk of seeing a severe thunderstorm and possible chance of seeing tornadoes develop as well. So here's tonight's forecast. Going to be cold in the western parts of the U.S., warmer in the southeast, and then for tomorrow, same trend, except central U.S. is going to start to warm up just a little bit more. Now I'm going to pass things off to Jonathan with our second local look of the evening.
Yeah, zooming back into Tallahassee, we have had quite the temperature day today, with highs in the 76, just right on average. Lows are going to be warmer than average, and that's indicative of this warm tropical air mass that we have in place, with this air surging from the Gulf of Mexico that's going to fuel the severe thunderstorms that we have been talking about. But because of that warm, moist air mass we have in place, we have had some scattered showers throughout the region this afternoon. I had to walk back to my apartment from campus in a bit of spitting rain. Didn't get drenched though, because you can see these showers are clearing out, and the cloud cover is clearing out towards our west as well, reflecting the warming atmosphere as we head into tomorrow. Zooming out at your big picture, for the local area, we might see some rain tomorrow from these, and overnight from these storms over in Mobile Bay, but not really looking at too big of a risk. Temperature-wise, we're in our 70s, 68 in Quincy, where you had up in Thomasville 66, where you have more of that rain-cooled air. But dew points are also very moist and muggy, and so when you go outside, it feels very gross. It's very humid, it's very moist. That is going to fuel those thunderstorms to our west. Fortunately for us, that line is going to weaken by the time it makes it to Tallahassee. As we look over the next 24 hours, you're going to see those storms race off to the northeast, and as this warm air surges to our west, there's going to be a bunch of thunderstorms across the southeast that can produce damaging winds, tornadoes, hail, you name it. We have a severe weather risk, also a flood risk. However, here in Tallahassee, as you see, not much cloud cover, not much storm action going on for us here, so we are very thankful for that. But for tonight, 59 in Tallahassee, a little bit warmer down by the coast where that southerly flow continues to blow. And then as we head into tomorrow, your high temperatures are going to be in the 80s. As we go up into Georgia, those temperatures are going to be warmer. Cooler down by the coast, so it's sort of an inverse relationship there. Warmer at night, cooler during the day, as the effects of the sea breeze take place. Speaking of the sea, marine forecast tomorrow, 72. Winds are going to be quite a bit high if you want to be out on the water. Sailboats, you're going to have enough wind beneath your sails to make it around tomorrow. Seas, there's going to be some light chop, nothing too big, and your weather, your skies are going to be perfect. Make sure you put on sunscreen with our UV index of medium. Taking a look at the week ahead, temperatures are going to be in the mid-80s for most of the week. 83 tomorrow, warming up to about 86 over the weekend. Gorgeous beach weather if you want to take the trip to St. George Island, take the trip to Alligator Point. Absolutely gorgeous beach weather. But as we head early into next week, we're in a pretty stable condition. Not much is going to be changing in our weather, but for a bit of a look at a more dynamic weather situation, we're going to pass things to Zach, who's going to take a look at the storms going on in the country right now in the Storm Lab.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. And, you know, this is something new we're kind of premiering this year on FSU Weather. We've obviously had a lot of severe weather, and unfortunately, we're going to have to see more severe weather as we come to. So right now, we're going to talk about Shreveport. You guys kind of on the edge of the risk, and you're kind of sandwiched between 2 days' worth of severe weather. Currently tonight, let me go ahead and move this over a little bit. You can see Texas right now over towards Corsicana. Between Corsicana and Tyler, we have some storms popping up. We also have some watches here to talk about quickly. Just have some severe thunderstorm watch here until 10 p.m. Central Time. Excuse me there, having 2 of those anywhere in that pink color. Zooming out a little bit here, see there's 2 real areas of storms here just east of Alexandria, down here just south of Nelliesburg and Jackson there on the I-20 corridor, and of course over there towards the south of Dallas. This storm was tornado warned earlier, looks to be cycling, may not be quite as Zoom in on that guy right there. Yeah, so we had a little supercell here, mostly becoming a hail threat right now as we go into Goldwolf there and heading towards Hamilton here in the next couple of minutes. Right now, around the Shreveport area, generally mid-70s and almost close to 80 as we get up towards Texarkana. You guys are not necessarily under the influence of those clouds, keeping things cooler. Wind speeds right now, generally out of the east, so not so typical for this area. You know, usually we're looking at a south or a west wind, but yeah, east winds right now, indicative of that low pressure system off to our west. Now here, this is going to take you through the night tonight. Anywhere in red is kind of the energy for the storms. So this is our convective available energy. As we get into those yellower colors, that is looking like more of the high energy and high dynamics. Anywhere in our green here is where our dew points are above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So areas where these kind of line up are where we would expect, you know, the conditions to be optimal for storm development. Taking a look here at the future radar, a lot of stuff starts to develop here overnight. As you saw, most of that energy starting to move to the east. We have a huge overlap of our optimal conditions. Little Rock over towards Dallas, potentially a couple of rounds of storms, probably not anything too severe, but heavy rain, which is also another theme of this event as we go into the day tomorrow. Shreveport and Jackson, probably just some light showers. Most of this light stuff here probably not hitting the ground. But then you start to see new storms develop, and there across northern Mississippi and over towards Alabama, you're starting to see some of these discrete storms by this time tomorrow. If I zoom over here a little bit, pan over here, any of these little individualized storms, let me get the pointer out here, any of these could potentially produce a tornado. So we definitely have to keep our eye out on that. We're going to have coverage tomorrow during and after FSU weather at a regular time, so please tune in for that if you have interest in these areas. Now quickly, today's storm outlook and tomorrow's storm outlook. This is what I want to show you before we pass it off to David. At a moderate risk, anywhere here in the red, looking over towards Nashville and Huntsville and Jackson. All right, David's going to take a look now at Florida. Maybe not quite as exciting, but nice vacation spot.
It's not as exciting, Zach. You are absolutely correct, but it is a great place to go for spring break. And so I'm going to take a look at the dew points currently, and they are on the rise. Look at 70-degree dew point. That is some soupy air down there. It's very thick, moist air down there. So yeah, I'd be in the air conditioning down there. And as you go further north, you see those dew points get a little bit lower, but this is what's going to fuel the storms tomorrow up in parts of Mississippi and Alabama, because those dew points are going to reach actually 70 in some places in western Alabama and also in eastern parts of Mississippi. Currently, showers are moving up here off the coast of Big Bend, and they're making it onshore, but it seems like they're fizzling out, and these will continue to fizzle out as the sun begins to set, and the daytime heating is eliminated, so those showers will slowly wash out there. In South Florida, Miami area, absolutely beautiful weather, maybe some pop-up showers inland, but just a great day to be out on the beach if you're on spring break or vacationing in South Florida. It's just absolutely beautiful down there. And the next 3 days are going to be on the warm side, but it's more of a comfortable warm. So it's not in the 90s, it's in the mid-80s, so it's actually really comfortable. And there'll be plenty of sunshine both on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Miami if you're down there vacationing. And in Central Florida, if you're going to the parks, Universal or Orlando or to Disney World, it's going to be a great time to be out there in the parks. It's going to be clear. Right now, it's currently clear and everything, but the temperatures I'm going to show you really quick. It's going to get hot in Tampa. Temperature will eventually get to 87. Next day, 3 days, though, plenty of sunshine. Good day to be out there on the beach in parts of St. Pete, or if you go over there to Clearwater, it's going to be beautiful weather for vacationing in Orlando. If you're going to the parks, probably bring plenty of water because it's actually going to be very warm on the warm side. Temperatures pretty much in the low 90s. You see 92, 92, and 91 for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So stay hydrated if you're going to those parks. And up here in Jacksonville, you're getting in on those high clouds that are moving from the west to the east, and might be some light showers that move through the area over the next few hours. But as far as that, I'm going to look at the temperatures in Jacksonville. It's also going to be on the warm side, 90, 90, 88 for your Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And here's the radar for the Panhandle, Florida. Do have some showers moving in over here. And so tomorrow's forecast highs, it's going to be on the warm side, 90s and 80s. You look down there in Miami, if you're vacationing down there, 85 degrees. I'm going to hand things off to Zach now, who's going to take a look at the local.
Yeah, so
like some of these other places in Florida. Right now, things are pretty nice out there, and look at that. We finally got to see the sun there. Sunset coming in around an hour or so, so get outside while you can. 70 degrees, not really cloudy, partly cloudy right now. That'll update here in a couple minutes. There's east-southeasterly winds starting to pick up. Notice here in Tallahassee, 70. That's probably all the warm we're going to get, for an hour or so. It's going to start cooling off. But cooler inland, Thomasville, Bainbridge, Quincy, you guys had some more of those showers and kind of dropped those temperatures down. Satellite and radar, a couple of big low-pressure systems here nationally. This little weak guy here just southwest of Houston, there's a little stationary front down here, and that's kind of what's provided some of those lighter showers, mostly offshore right now, though. Zooming in a little bit here to the southeast, Tallahassee. Once again, these showers that did affect Thomasville up towards Valdosta, thankfully now they're moving off to the north and the east and kind of dying out. Here below me, just offshore, we also have some showers, but weakening quickly once they move inland, so that is some good news, unless you're going to be out on the Gulf tonight. Should remain pretty dry. Down here towards East Point and Sopchoppy, the clouds hopefully will be clearing out. You can see there right behind me, another 20 or 30 minutes or so, maybe you guys will get a nice sunset as well. Up here to the north, once again, kind of some clouds just hanging around, also hopefully clearing out as we get here through the next couple of hours. Tonight might see a little bit over here towards Perry and Day, probably going to be in the clouds for a while, but once again, showers pretty much avoiding everywhere in the Big Bend right now. Now, the next 24 hours, you're seeing some bright colors way up here to the north. Thankfully, looks like as we get tonight, this is by tomorrow morning, and then through tomorrow afternoon, maybe a few more clouds starting to come in, but overall the precipitation looks to stay away from most of the Big Bend region. Tonight, 59 degrees with those mostly cloudy skies, maybe getting a couple of breaks in there, could see the moon and the stars. Winds generally light and variable. As we get into the day tomorrow, however, though, things heating up quickly as those winds shift out of the south, the sunny skies return, and the week ahead is showing things heating up quite a lot. Till Sunday, we finally get a front to come through and cool us off a little bit and some nice showers, thankfully to help us avoid more summer-like conditions. But here over the next couple of days, it looks like 80s will be the theme. It'll start to feel like summer as we get those southerly breezes up. The humidity is going to increase, and keeping the shower chances, however, pretty low. So a nice day to be outside. And looking at next week, partly cloudy skies pretty much for everyone, with temperatures slowly warming up. But will we start to get closer to that 90-degree mark? We will have to wait and see. All right, Tyler and Jonathan are here to close out the show. And guys, I think it's a pretty nice forecast here for us locally.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. I absolutely agree. We do have those temperatures starting to get back up to the 80s, but luckily the rain chances are remaining on the lower part for the most part.
Yeah, here in Tallahassee, we might see a few showers associated with that weakening line of storms that's going to be passing through Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee tomorrow. Once it approaches Georgia, the conditions for severe weather just aren't there, so it's going to fall apart a little bit. We might see some showers on Friday, though, but other than that, absolutely gorgeous weather. Maybe start packing up your jackets. I don't see it getting that cold in the future.
Monday, I mean, if you think the 70s are too cold and you're a native Floridian like myself, maybe have a jacket ready for that day. But for the most part, we're going to be in the 80s, sunny skies, maybe see some clouds every once in a while, but some great days to go to the pool or to the beach whenever we don't have those rain chances.
Yeah, or even if you want to go hiking at Providence Canyon or go up into Georgia, take a nature trail. It's just absolutely gorgeous weather to get outside this weekend. It's been a year of quarantine now, so we're all kind of getting stir crazy and we're wanting to do things. So strongly recommend getting outside this weekend, getting refreshed.
But be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. That includes Twitter, Facebook, and then you can also watch us live on YouTube at youtube.com/FSUweather at 6 p.m. And you can also follow us on Instagram at FSUweather. If you have any cool weather pics, send them our way, and we'll post those for you guys.
Yeah, if anyone out here is watching from Mississippi or Alabama, if you can safely get pics tomorrow, send them to us. We don't want you going out into the midst of it to get pics. But for now, I'm student meteorologist Jonathan Marcus.
And I am meteorologist Tyler Sherrod. Hope you guys have a great night.